Is gluten-free myth or reality? Is gluten-free just a myth? Gluten-free has become a common phrase heard in both advertising and casual conversation in current times. Are you lost in the world of gluten-free, allergy-free, or whatever else is being discussed? Perhaps this video will help you understand the current gluten-free revolution. A gluten-free diet is often prescribed for those suffering from celiac disease. This type of diet prevents the person from eating the grains wheat, rye, barley, or hybrids of those grains. For those with celiac disease, gluten in foods can cause absorption problems in the intestines that lead to pain and illness. The avoidance of gluten can allow the intestine to heal. Those avoiding gluten do not have to avoid all bread-type products. However, they must choose gluten-free alternatives such as quinoa, amaranth, millet, and even rice. Many health food stores as well as regular grocery stores offer gluten-free alternatives. Or you can purchase many gluten-free foods online. Is gluten-free just a myth? Gluten-free and celiac disease. Though gluten-free is medically necessary for some, it has also become a bit of a fad diet for others. Gluten-free dieters that make the choice to go grain-free are often doing so for dieting reasons, not medically necessary ones. This can be a big change in lifestyle, but many are making the move. For those with celiac disease, the move can mean a healthier body and limited intestinal issues, but for those simply giving up gluten as part of a diet, the benefits could be weight loss and simply feeling better. It seems that those who choose to go gluten-free are not necessarily doing so due to an awareness of the celiac disease, but as a way to stick with the fad of the paleo diet and like forms of healthy eating. Unfortunately, this returns humans back to the Stone Age as far as diet. Though a return to simplicity is not necessarily bad, it can be a difficult transition for many. Gluten-free does serve a purpose for those with celiac disease and may offer some benefits for those who do not have such a disorder. However, for those without celiac disease, gluten-free is more of a fad that may eventually lose steam. For a while now, gluten sensitivity has been scoffed at. People often face eye rolls and snickers when they say they're gluten-free, but the symptoms are anything but humorous. Millions of people report headaches, stomach problems, and even joint pain or numbness after eating gluten-heavy foods, but they don't have celiac disease. Various studies have implied that the negative effects of gluten might be psychological, perhaps due to the negative attention that gluten gets in the media, but a new study shows something different. Sensitivity to gluten is officially known as non-celiac gluten sensitivity, or NCGS. 80 study participants were involved, half of which had a medically diagnosed celiac disease, and the other half who had no history of intolerance or sensitivity. The results, it showed that gluten bothered all 80 of the participants. In those with celiac disease, the problem happens in the small intestine. Wheat proteins enter the body, and anti-gluten antibodies, present only in those with celiac disease, mount an attack against the gluten and in the process, damage the intestinal lining. Those who didn't have celiac disease experienced something a bit different. When the study researchers took tests, they saw evidence of intestinal damage, potentially caused by a weak intestinal barrier. What happens is that the gluten seeps into the body, creating a widespread immune response that causes unpleasant symptoms. Knowing that there's a biological reason for gluten sensitivity is a big relief for those who suffer from it. It is always good to know that something isn't just in your head. Treating gluten sensitivity is the same as treating celiac: do not eat gluten. After half a year of eating gluten-free grains, people in the NCGS group said that they weren't having symptoms anymore. If you experience discomfort and pain after eating gluten, you might have NCGS, and no one can tell you it's not real.